So there was this one time when I had my kids and we were outside a convenience store and my daughter was crying like someone had ripped off her arm, and the cop walked by and he looked over, and all I thought in that moment was, uh-oh. You want to hear that story? Hi, if we haven't met, my name is Chris Gearing. I'm a parent coach and educator. I'm also an author. I've written several books that are back here behind me. I help people parent with more confidence, compassion, and connection. So that's what I hope to do today. Like and subscribe if you don't mind. That's really helpful to me. And if you have any questions or topics you really want me to talk about, drop a comment below and I'll circle back to it. All right, let's get into it. Okay, let me back up. One of the things I hear a lot from families I work with is, I don't know what to do when my kid's crying. I can't stand it when she's upset. I can't just let him cry. And then there's the needle scratch when my response to that is, tell me more about why it's bad to cry. Because here's the thing. It's not bad to cry. In fact, crying is a good thing. It releases all of these hormones through your tears that have to do with your brain chemistry, and it's an important function. So we tell our kids, crying is okay. You know, it's okay to be sad. You can have all of the feelings. We want to teach our kids emotional intelligence. We want them to have a broad range of actual human feelings, right? But do we? Because I'll tell you what, if every time your kid cries, your first instinct is, I've got to fix it. I've got to make it better. And what do we say to our kids in that moment? Don't cry, sweetie. Oh, don't cry. That is teaching your kid that it's not okay for them to have that emotion. It's teaching your kid that you can't handle it. And that ultimately teaches your kid that, they need to stuff their feelings down because my parent is really not capable of accepting all of me, including the hard, icky parts. So, here's the story I tell to parents when this comes up. There was this one time when after school, I took the kids to the local convenience store. They were probably, 5. I think they were in kindergarten, 5 or 6. And it was a hot day. And I was like, let's get some ice cream, right? Don't have anything else going on today. Let's get some ice cream. We went inside, got them both some ice cream, came out of the store. Promptly, my daughter dropped her ice cream on the sidewalk right outside the store and proceeded to scream as if someone had indeed ripped her arm off. And in that moment, I had a choice. I could choose to go back inside and get another ice cream, or I could choose to make my son share his ice cream, or I could choose to take the time and just sit with my daughter in the yucky feelings that happen when you drop your ice cream. I had the time. I chose the last one. I had 5 different people come up to me and say, I'll get her another ice cream. I don't mind. I can do that. And I was like, oh, that's really nice. Thank you. But we're okay. We're okay. Sometimes it's sad and we can be sad together. And these people looked at me like I was the most evil person on the planet. And I don't know, maybe some of you out there might think the same thing. But in that moment, what I wanted to teach my daughter was, you can show up however it is that you are. And I am here for you. There will be times when I can fix it, when I can buy you another ice cream. But there are going to be times when I can't fix it. And she's a teenager now. And I'm telling you, there are times my kids cry or are really sad, and there's nothing I can do to fix it. The only thing I can do is just be with them in the moment, accept all of their feelings, and tell them that I love them. I think the other day one of my kids said, oh, I just want a hug right now. I felt really upset and angry today, and I'm not even sure why. I'm just feel yucky. Okay. And I gave him a big hug and I said, I love you when you're angry. I love you when you feel yucky. I'm here. And I just held them for a really long time. And then they went to bed. That is the lesson I want my kids to get from me. I want them to know that I'm here and that I do love them unconditionally, even if they're crying, even if they're angry, even when they're having a full-blown tantrum. Not so often anymore, but, teenagers, hormones, it happens. I still love them, and they know that I love them. And there's a ton of neuroscience that backs this up. When our kids feel accepted and loved on a base level, it helps them manage these big mood swings, these big feelings that come along in a way that's healthier and promotes longer-term happiness. So, the cop. Yes, let's get back to that. So, sometimes when you're a parent, you're going to make a choice in the moment and you don't know if it's the right one. This was one of those moments. The cop walked by, my daughter's screaming. He stops, which was appropriate. Absolutely. And I just had this brief second where I was like, I don't have any proof that she's mine, right? Do you ever have those thoughts in your head? Like, I don't know. I don't have like paperwork or anything. And then, of course, my daughter looks exactly like me. And I was like, oh, I'm fine. And I think the cop was like, oh, what's going on? And I said, oh, she dropped her ice cream. And he said, oh. And I said, it's very sad. It's a very sad thing. And he sort of looked at me. And I think he got it because he went, yeah, that is sad. And then he was brilliant. He said, anybody want a sticker? I got some stickers here that are badges. Well, of course, my son, licking his ice cream, I don't want a sticker. So he gets a sticker. My daughter gets a sticker. They're both a little bit happier. She has stopped crying because if the cop wants to help you work through your sadness, you let the cop help you work through your sadness, right? And I think in the end, my son did end up sharing some of his ice cream with her, but I didn't force him to. I said, oh, Sissy's really sad. If you shared some of your ice cream, I bet that would make her feel a lot better. And she's, yes, it would. And he was like, oh, okay. And he let her have some, and they shared it. And it was fine. And we got through it. It's really hard when our kids are in pain. I know this. It hurts you when your kid hurts. It doesn't matter if they slam their finger in a door or they've got a cold or the flu or their boyfriend or girlfriend just broke up with them. It hurts when we see our kids in pain. But we cannot fix everything. And it is part of the normal human condition that sometimes we feel sad. Sometimes we feel really angry or bitter or frustrated, right? There's a whole realm of emotions out there. So I just want to put this out there as something to think about. You can't always fix things for your kid. Sometimes the best thing to do is to just sit in the yuck with them so they know they're not alone. You don't have to do it every time. And sometimes you do want to fix it. Maybe if I'd had to go to an appointment, I would have just bought another ice cream. There's no, this is the right way to do it. But what I want to do is start introducing some different ideas. I want to challenge these ways that we were raised. I want to challenge some of these ideas that you might have that are influencing your parenting in a way that may be totally unconscious to you. Because we all have that happen. We all have influences on our parenting that we have no conscious recognition of. It's just how it was done, and so that's how we do it. So if you find yourself leaning more towards always fixing it, or if you are on a regular basis saying those words, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't be sad, take a moment and just reflect on that and ask yourself if this is really what you want to do. What do you want to teach long term? I always talk about long-term goals and short-term goals. Sometimes the short-term goal is, I need to get to that appointment. We got to go. But if my long-term goal is really consistent and I've really thought about it, I want my kids to have emotional intelligence. I want my kids to have a rock-solid relationship with me that is going to last the rest of their lifetimes. When my kids are 5, if I'm thinking ahead, when my kids are 15 and they're really, really sad, do I want them to hide that from me? Or do I want them to feel comfortable sharing that with me because they know I can sit there with them and hold it with them? They don't have to hold it by themselves. I mean, think what an unburdening that is on so many levels. If you don't have to hold this pain by yourself, if you don't have to hold that sadness by yourself, and you have somebody else with you whom you love, and they're just willing to sit with you, that's pretty powerful. That's it for today. I will talk to you next time.